Welcome back to Fantabulous, where we do handbag product development sketches. Today we're going to be doing this lovely, looks like a carry-on bag. It's actually a diaper bag. It's vintage. It's Rebecca Minkoff, and it's in leather nylon. I already previously measured it. It's about 14 wide by 12 high, an 8-inch gusset, drops 8 inches, and the handle spread, which is the measurement between the handles, is 5.5. So I am going to go over to our sketching table, which is already covered with all the stuff that I usually sketch with. And we're going to put our camera in. There we are. Okay, I actually wrote my measurements right here, which makes it a little bit more convenient. So I'm going to grab that bag, and I'm going to put it right next to me, right over here. Always have your sample close by if you have it. Sometimes you unfortunately don't because, it was sent to a factory someplace and who knows where. So, back to this. So now that we have our measurements, we're going to I usually try to go from either inches to half inches or some fractal of the inches, or go straight into centimeters to make things a little easier. So I'm going to start by doing that. So I'm just going to give myself some idea of how big this bag is. I said 14, and then I'm going to do 2. The shape of the bag is kind of like a mailbox side. I'm going to show that when you draw it. And all right, now the side is not going to really be that accurate because it's foreshortened. And let's see, so first thing, we're going to start with our general shape, which is square-ish. There's a lot of curves to this bag, more than you'd expect. But, okay. It's kind of like a mailbox kind of a shape, which is fine and dandy. You can give a little bit of idea of softness. Don't go too crazy, though, because you don't want them to make an erroneous pattern mistake, thinking that the bag is actually curved when you're just trying to draw softness. Okay, so now we're going to start with the details. So this is the general shape of our bag and the general proportion. So now we're going to move on to the zipper window. A zipper window is usually in leather. It's kind of a little bit of a frame to the zipper. It looks nice. It also is good because leather has more substance than, for example, the nylon, and it won't get caught on the nylon because the leather keeps them separated. So it's a nice detail. It looks nice, and it adds value to the bag as well. So now let's do our Rebecca Minkoff detail. She likes these, well, she used to like these border things. She's gone through quite a bunch of iterations of her styling, and they're always very nice. Okay, so let's see how we're doing here. We're gonna put here the D-ring loop. Nice chunky D-ring, as you saw, is chunky hardware that she's known for. Okay, next we have a very nice, generous side pocket. Because this is a diaper bag, it has to have good pocketing. Got to put bottles and all sorts of things everywhere, burp cloths and what have you. So that's very well taken care of. Okay, now the next, I'm going to try to carry and keep it at the same height because there's one on the other side. So I'm going to do that here. Okay, now there we go. So now we have, remember always to draw in the dart to give, people should, well, not people, the sample room should know that there's a dart there and there's some volume there. So you have to make sure you draw that in. Okay, so let's go on. We have the Rebecca Minkoff detail shape handle collar. It's just a piece of leather that's styled in a nice shape, but it also has a function. It adds extra strength to the top of the bag to sustain and hold the handles. And you don't want anything tearing too quickly, so that's what you do. Okay, the next is going to do our other details. Yeah, that looks about right. It's about 3/4 of an inch band here. Okay, next we're going to do our pocket, which is kind of a signature thing for her in certain bags. Okay, morning after bag and all that kind of thing. Let's see. All right, we're good. Okay, so now I'm going to do a zipper pull. So this one has a very nice custom puller with like a zigzag on it. Detail, kind of like a cross hatching detail rather. And it has some nice little tassel details in leather. Everything, all the details are in leather. I love leather. I don't like plastic. Okay, here we go. Next up, there is a very nice additional chunky D-ring here for styling, and also it is for an extra area to hang your shoulder strap. Okay, so let's see. Now we're going to put in the handles. So let me actually use the measurements that I took. We said 5.5, so I'm going to just go ahead and give myself some measurements. Sometimes you have to fudge it a little, but you want to make sure that it's somewhat accurate. Okay, so now we're going to, there we go. Going to put in our chunky hardware. Big D-ring, big generous D-ring. There we go. Lovely. Okay. Gonna give an idea here of our little dome rivet. Okay, next, handles. Nice tubular handles. Okay, let's go there. That's an 8-inch drop. I'm pretty sure I got it correctly, but you should measure if you're not sure. Or at this point, the 8 cms. All right. So now we go to the back handle, which is going to be more or less the same, but obviously offset because it's catty-cornered away. So we draw that accurately. Okay, we'll try to anyway. Remember, a lot of stuff is foreshortened, so what you would think is in one place might be in another. Just think about how the bag would look if you were looking at it on a table. That helps. On some kind of two-dimensional plane like a table or something like that, then you have an idea of where things should be. And don't just imagine it floating in the ether. It's not going to help you too much. Okay. Okay, next. Did I do that too high? Maybe I did. All right, let's see. If you made a mistake at this point in the sketch, it's very good because you can just erase and do it again, which is always a good idea. Don't stand on your mistakes. Pretty sure it says that in Ecclesiastes or something. Okay, so, or if it doesn't, it should. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to do our zipper head. And this, I'm going to stick out the zipper here so that I don't hide the other details. And it had like a nice big hole and a crisscross detail, which I'm going to add. And here is the tassel detail, long skinny tassels, which is nice, especially since they're real leather. I like that. Okay, so ta-da, now we have our pencil sketch. Next thing we're going to do is, if you see anything you don't like, correct it at this point. I'm going to add some soft lines here so that it shows what part is softer than the other. And we are off to our handy dandy brush pen. Yay! Okay, so I like brush pens. This is a nice one. It's a nice fat one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edges of this to give it some volume. Okay, so let's go. All right, here we go. Let me pull this down a little bit closer to me, and here we go. Okay. All right. First thing we do is the outer edge of our handbag to give the impression of weight and volume. All right, so there we go. And of course we do it with a thicker pen. All right. Like a brush pen, for example. This is a cheap brush pen from China, but you can use Tombow. It's a little bit better. I think Tombow might also be from China. I don't know. Maybe it's from Korea. I have no idea. But use whatever you're comfortable with and whatever's within your budget, obviously. Okay, so if you have to, change position of the sketch to make your drawing comfortable, because you're the one drawing the sketch. The sketch isn't drawing you. If you want to turn the sketch upside down because it's easier for you, go right ahead. Okay. The other thing you want to add in a heavier pen is the hardware, and pocket flaps, obviously, because there's something that stand out in there. They have more of a three-dimensional look to them, and they should have that on your sketch also. There. All right, here we go. All right. Okay, let's turn it around. Okay, so what am I missing? I'm missing the D-rings. So let's put those guys in. They're nice and chunky. We'll put the other side of this zipper pull. Oh, and the top of the pocket. The top of the pocket should be also a little bit heavier because it stands away from the bag, so it has like it should have more of a three-dimensional look on your sketch. Okay. We close our brush pen and we grab our fine line. Fine line, not extra fine line. You don't want to go too extra because if you're scanning stuff, you could lose detail. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do the handles because they're right there. And we're going to add the details of a regular tube handle where the seam is towards the back. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just going to add this stitching already and just finish as I go along. All right, this is also going to curve up and around there. It says edge paint, so you want to make sure that you actually, I think it's raw edge. To look again. You want to make sure you show that edge. It's not a turned-in handle, so it's all right. So now we're going to add that. We're doing great. Okay, now we're going to do this and that, and we're going to do our front handle, which doesn't have any seaming to it, apparent. Okay. All right. Remember to draw all the details. If it's cut into the bag, draw it. If it's a separate panel, draw it. Anything that is a construction detail, you should try to at least suggest it. And if you can't, because it's very small, you should try to make a hint of it and then mention it on your spec. Very important. You want to make sure that your specs are accurate and your sketches reflect what's in the spec, because you can confuse people a lot, and I have seen disasters like that. You want to make sure that you double up on your information. You want to make sure people know exactly what you're doing. It's kind of like driving. You want to make sure that everybody knows on the road what you're planning on doing. You don't want to surprise anybody. Okay. It could cost you your job. And on the road, it could cost you your life, actually. Pretty scary. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm doing the pocket detail. And let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now I'm going to do our dart here. I'm going to continue on down. Okay. Very good. Okay, so let's do our stitching so we can leave this area more or less finished. Okay, so now let's do this. Has this crisscross detail here. There we are. And I'm going to turn this around to make it easier for me to draw my zipper window. Okay. It's a nice detail. All right. Remember to make sure that all your details are nicely finished. If you're going to go to Adobe Illustrator with this sketch, you don't want to leave any open holes because you'll have a problem if you try to use a trace tool on it. Okay. All right. So let's go back this way. I'm going to continue on the other side of the bag. We're doing that nicely. All right. Okay, getting there, getting there, getting there. Let me do the zipper and finish that top part of the bag. All right. All right. Just a detail of the zipper. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around again and do the stitching. Yeah, sketching is fun. Of course, you have to do specs with it, which aren't so fun, but you know, it's work, and work is good. And work gives you money, which is good too. Okay, here we go. Remember, children, be independent. Okay, we are almost ready with the top of the bag. Then we'll do our details on the front panel and we'll be finished. All right. So now, zipper head. Oh, actually, I want to go back and give this pocket flap a little bit of volume because it's not flat sewn onto the bag. It's actually a pocket flap that sticks out. So you want to make sure that you represent that. Also, the zipper head, I forgot. Oops. Don't worry. No biggie. All right, here we go. All right, now we did that. Let's flip this back. Oh, very nice. All right, so how are we going? Let's go. Back to our sketching, okay? I'll flip this also to the side. First, let me finish the zipper being that I'm here ready. Let's see. This tassel has got a raw edge, so I'm drawing it in. Yeah, I'm adding some soft lines there to give an idea of the nylon being a soft material as opposed to the leather, which is not. When we draw this on Adobe, we're going to have to also distinguish between the two different materials. So we'll probably do that with gradients, and we'll do that next week. Okay, so let's see. So we get that nice shape in. Okay. And then we do our straight panel that is holding down the pocket flap. All right. Okay, so now we're going to do top stitching. And then let's see, get some top stitching there. Very nice indeed. Alrighty. Okay. Give a little detail here that it should show that it's got more volume. And we're almost ready with this guy too. All right. Okay. I forgot I need to add some details on the pocket. I mean on the zipper handles. Okay. So now all we need is our handy dandy circle tool to do our domed rivets. You can draw them in by yourself if you want to. It's a nice chunky rivet. Yeah, that was it. So I'm going to go a little bit smaller for this one because it's down on the bag a little bit farther away from you. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, so now I'm going to grab my eraser and I'm going to get rid of the measurements that I had in the corner because I don't need them anymore. And I'm going to get rid of all the pencil lines, which I do not need anymore. And I have a sketch of a very nice bag. And I hope you enjoyed the class. All right, let's see. Did I get rid of everything? All right. Okay. So there you have it. A handbag sketch. And I hope you enjoyed the class. Hope that you'll subscribe and see you around next week. Bye.